Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. My name is Matt with RTCG. Today's video is all about when the bubble's gonna pop for Pokemon. Are things about to crash? Are prices heading down? And what do you need to be on the lookout for, both individually as a collector, as someone that's casually enjoying the hobby, and as somebody maybe like me that's trying to start a business, that's actively selling product and looking to buy things in this type of market. Before we dive into this video even further, I do want to encourage everyone to hit that like button and subscribe. We are on the road to 1,000 subscribers. The growth has been crazy. Thank you so much, everyone. I really appreciate you guys. Everyone that I get to meet in the comments, you guys are amazing. Even when we disagree, even when we have conflicting opinions, which maybe there will be some in this video, I'm just saying, I might say some hot takey kind of things. But jump down in the comments, always let me know how you feel, always let me know what your opinions are on my videos, how they differ, how you agree with me. I enjoy the dialogue and the conversations. It's really, really great. So let's talk about it. Is the Pokemon market about to crash? Short answer for me is no, I don't think we're about to crash. And I don't necessarily think we're even in a bubble right now, okay? I think things are crazy, but I do think that we have seen, guys, everyone says it with hobbies, things are a cycle, right? So I think what we're seeing right now is we're seeing a up cycle in the hobby, but instead of this standard, quote unquote, normal kind of, higher demand cycle that Pokemon's been used to, we've actually seen a lot more demand enter into the hobby, which has created a lot of issues. Now, the real question is whether or not a lot of the demand is artificial. You see things like Pokemon Center, ETB drops getting bought out before they even go live on the site. That is not genuine and organic demand. That is individuals or groups of individuals trying to take advantage of the current market, and they are causing an increase of artificial demand that is not healthy and is not good for the hobby. Now, obviously, Pokemon's response to that, situation has been to tighten their security, to invest in more precautionary things on the site, to make sure that that's not going to be possible anymore. And so they haven't even officially released that ETB yet. I think this is super good. That's a good sign from Pokemon. But that artificial demand, that big question mark, it's a big gray area. We don't really know how to quantify or define that. How many botters are there? How much supply are they getting their hands on? And then are they releasing that? Are they selling that back into the hobby right now through the secondary market? Obviously, you would say yes, and I think that a lot of that product probably is finding its way back in. A lot of the products finding its way back into the market, but how much of it is also being sat on? Remember, when you can turn an ETB, like a PC ETB, that costs you $60, $70, and then turn that into $200, it doesn't take a lot of transactions for you to recoup your money and also have a stockpile set up on the background. So people that are saying that, hey, this isn't going away anytime soon, this is a bubble, it's all, manufactured, it's all artificial. I see what you're saying, okay? I'm trying to put myself in your shoes, but also the other side of the coin that's unquantifiable, that we do not have an answer for, is how much organic demand there is. And I am going to stand here and say something. I don't guarantee anything. This isn't a 100% thing. But personally, based off of what I've seen, this is anecdotal, right? What I've seen, what I've experienced around me, and what I'm seeing online and the conversations, everything like that, is I think that the natural organic demand here that's happening in the hobby right now is unprecedented. I think that there's way more organic demand that we give credit to, especially those of us that are online chronically watching the latest Nostalgianomics Rudy videos. I think that there's so much organic demand, it's not even funny. So we cannot discount the organic demand. And I think that type of demand, just open Whatnot, open TikTok, go to Twitch, find a large Like, go watch Nostalgianomics stream. Even if you hate his videos, I promise that if you spend 10 minutes, 15 minutes in his live stream, he's actually super kind, okay? You can even tell it on in his live streams, okay? You can see the natural demand through live streams, okay? I have a very small stream on Fridays and Saturdays, and I don't sell through a fraction of what larger streamers do, but I will say that whenever I have the right English packs in stock, whenever I have different things available, like new Japanese sets, the demand is really high. It's organic demand. It's people looking to enjoy the cards, open them, try to get a top hit, or just collect things for their binders. It's really fascinating and amazing how much organic demand is out there. Now you couple that with like, okay, we have this surge in like gambling culture as well. Like how many people are just diving in looking to buy a $5 pack and turn it into $50. I'm sure that that's quite a lot of people involved. But I would also categorize that, as sad as it is, as probably not healthy as that type of culture is, 100%. I would categorize that as natural organic demand as well. Those people are diving in to obviously try to get something out of it, and probably not in the healthiest way, but they are naturally and organically going to the hobby to enjoy it in their own way. So I personally don't think that we're in a bubble. I think that these are unprecedented times, and I think that they are paving the way to a new normal. However, I do not think that prices are going to rise forever. If you, one of my favorite content creators online is Dan from Catch 'em All Collectibles. I really like his content, and a lot of people say that he's bearish because he has this viewpoint that at some point in the near distant, we don't know when, at some point in the future, prices will return to MSRP or below them. I actually really resonate with that sentiment from Dan. I really do believe that Pokemon is assessing the situation right now, and they don't want things to be as out of control as they are right now. They want to stay as profitable as possible, and if they printed more products, they would get more profit there. However, I do know, I hear Nostalgianomics' voice in the back of my head. There is a fine line that they have to walk, right? They just can't print it to the ground. And some people would argue that they have been attempting to do that, and demand is just still too much stronger than they're able to supply us with. Now, that's probably true, to be honest. I mean, demand is just at all-time highs. But I do think it's a fine line. Like, you don't want to overprint a TCG and it lose all of its value. That's not the goal of Pokemon, but the goal of any kind of corporation and business is to maximize profit. So I do believe that Pokemon will be printing more supply. In this fine line that we're walking here, where, demand is outweighing so much that, demand is outweighing supply so much that we're getting all these crazy prices. I think that all it takes is for one set or even one product or SKU from a set to be lopsided supply and demand for this kind of to like have a small miniature domino falling experience. So what do I mean by that? Well, all it would take is kind of one mid set to be released for a product to be sitting on shelves, and that could start a trickle effect. Now, I don't think it's going to affect everything in the market. Not everything is going to crash. Anybody that's saying that, I think, is a little bit wild. You crazy. You crazy. If you're watching this video right now, you think that, you crazy. But for real, if you do think that, mad respect to you. If it happens, I will say I was wrong. I do think that newer sets have a higher likelihood of returning to MSRP or below. Older sets, really we're looking at, I want to say everything in Scarlet and Violet. It's not true. But really that first half of Scarlet and Violet, I don't think there's a lot of opportunity for those sets to really crash again, okay? I think that you could say that their gains over the next year have already been priced in with the current the current boost in prices, the current bull market that we're in. Maybe they'll go stagnant for a year. Maybe they'll go stagnant for a set of time before jumping back up in value. That's totally possible. However, I do not think that we're going to see large, just declines in price for those earlier sets. And in fact, we're getting closer and closer to that 2-year window. And I wouldn't be surprised if we were about to see another leg up for those products, to be honest. That's just my honest opinion. That's how I feel about it. So I don't think that we're in a bubble. I think that there's a new normal going on. You can see it on the streams and rip and ships and everything like that in the community, everyone involved. And then lastly, what I really want to talk about here is, do we have a demand problem or do we have a supply problem? Another one of my content creators that I like a lot is PokePastor TCG here on YouTube. TJ is his name. Really great guy. Really great content. He released a video just recently. I don't know when, like a week ago. I don't know when it was, but he really made this statement that we don't have a supply issue, we have a demand issue. And I personally lean kind of more towards the other side. I think that the issue we're seeing is tied to the amount of supply that's available. And I think that if Pokemon fixes or finds a way to navigate the supply kind of paradox, the supply puzzle that they have, then demand doesn't have to adjust in order for prices to adjust. I think that honestly, the buck kind of stops at Pokemon and how they are supplying the market, because demand. Okay, I'm gonna try to explain something. I'm not very smart. Okay, like I'm smart, but I don't know a lot about finance, markets, stuff like that. I'm learning. I do know about Pokemon. I do know about selling some Pokemon cards, but like big picture, really smart people, things about finance and markets, I'm not your guy. Here's what I have to say though. I think that the market speaks, right? So for any business, when you're selling a product, when you're introducing a product to a market, whether it's your local market, whether it's the market at large, whatever, the market is going, the demand, the market is going to let you know how they respond to your product, okay? Right now, Pokemon has released a product, okay? They've released Dustin Rivals, Prismatic Evolutions, White and Black, the Mega Sets. And the market, the demand has responded, and they've responded in a way that says they want more. So I don't think I would call that the problem. I would say that creates a problem on the supply side. That creates a problem for Pokemon to problem solve. The demand and the market speaks, and then the supply side has to respond. Now that response is not always what we want. Like some of us in the Pokemon market would love just to see hundreds of thousands of booster boxes and just cards available for days and days for us to pay $2 per pack. And I don't think Pokemon's going to respond that way. But I think right now Pokemon is responding. I think they are clearly responding with how much product's being released. And I think that they're probably evaluating and strategizing on an overall approach to how they want to address the problem that the demand, I can't talk, that the market has given them. But does that mean the demand side is the problem? Do we have a demand problem? Is that what I'm saying? Basically what I'm saying is I think we're saying the same thing, okay? I think that demand and supply are connected, okay? I think these two things are connected, and we're probably saying the same thing, but I like to say we have a supply problem. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I really can't talk. Thank you so much for watching. If you watched to the end, congratulations. You should comment down below. You should say RAR can't talk, okay? Anybody that comments that, I'll know you made it to this point in the conversation, and I'll laugh at myself with you because it's kind of silly. And don't forget to follow. You can't follow on YouTube, but don't forget to like and subscribe. We're getting closer to 750 subscribers, and then we're on to 800, which is crazy. But yeah, I'll see you for the next one. Peace.